Stretch it out like a TryHard. Alright, looking at this, it's either Mega Aerodactyl or Mega Gardevoir. Both of them could have a Mega Stone. I don't see a whole lot of utility for Aerodactyl outside the Mega. He's good, but he's not like OU good. Gardevoir is very special defensive bulky, so you want to hit it on that defensive side. Cloyster with Shell Smash and White Herb can actually be pretty potent because it increases his speed while keeping the defense and special defense pretty much the same. So that's pretty cool. Talonflame, we actually don't take too much damage from. It looks like there's a lot of weakness to, well, a little bit of weakness to water on this team with a little bit of resistance to it. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of water moves on our team, but it is what it is. So, it's also a very physical team. Absolutely physical. Almost all-out physical. So, Weezing's going to be our best lead-out because he's so defensive bulky and doesn't take a whole lot of damage. So, it is what it is. So, hello everybody. This is DKG's Avos. Welcome to TryHard Tuesday. Good to go. Boom. Now, with Aerodactyl out and about, Aerodactyl doesn't really have a whole lot that's going to be super effective against Weezing. I mean, if he had Earthquake and Mold Breaker, that'd be kind of cool. I don't remember what Mega Aerodactyl gets, but he's going to set up Stealth Rocks. Now, I did just breed a bunch of Aerodactyl with Stealth Rocks. Unfortunate thing is that because he's a Rock-type Pokemon, he's not resistant to any of the electric moves. So, we're just going to go ahead and take advantage of that. Oh, that seems a little loud. No, it's perfect. Perfect music. Perfect music level. I think that's actually pretty good for you guys. Maybe. I don't know. Is the music too loud for you guys? Let me know. Let me know. Music too loud, music perfect. Don't just say yes or no, because then I don't remember with stream delay. Alright. Weezing in here. Fantastic. Phenomenal. Weezing doing almost half damage to that poor, poor soul. I'm sorry. We didn't overpredict here because it's a little early for that kind of thing. We're just going for Thunderbolt. We didn't go for any sort of Sludge Bomb or Flamethrower or anything like that. Klefki is going to come out and try and set stuff up. If he sets up a layer of spikes at all, we're going to go ahead and switch straight out in. Alright, so dual screen, dual screen. We don't have our Azumarill here. Unfortunate. Burn, baby, burn. Take it. Well, like I said, if he sets up even one layer of spikes, we're going to go ahead and switch out into Scissor. We're not worried about paralysis too much. I mean, Light Screen, fantastic. You've got Light Screen. We're still doing super effective damage. You're basically reducing that to normal effective damage. So, we're doing basically neutral damage with Flamethrower. But the chances of Klefki fainting due to burn damage or something like that, I don't think Klefki really wants to stick around either. And so far, he hasn't done anything at all to Weezing. Not at all. There's the burn. Now, if you're not running a Lumberry on... If you are not running Lumberry on Diggersby, I absolutely think that you're doing it wrong. Now, the reason that I say that is because Lumberry on Diggersby means that if this thing was burned, he's no longer burned. Not at all. So it wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter at all. Oh, Poison's not super... whatever. We're just going to keep going with Flamethrower. I kind of expected a switch there just because, well, Burn Diggersby is worthless Diggersby. But maybe he's going to burn it out. So we're just going to keep going for the Flamethrower here and see what we can do. We know that Quick Attack's not going to be doing anything because without the huge power adding on to Diggersby, Diggersby is absolutely worthless. You've got essentially a Diggersby without an ability if it's burned and has huge power, because huge power and burn are going to negate each other out. Weezing's paralyzed. Oh, that sucks. It's not that bad for us, though. Alright, Talonflame, what you got for me? I've got a paralyzed Weezing. I just got Parahaxed. We're supposed to complain about that because para-hacks are awful, but it really doesn't matter because Weezing's going to be bulky enough that he's going to be able to take a Brave Bird to the face. Not worried about it. Recoil damage on Azumarill or on Weezing, not a big deal. We've got T-Bolt, we're going to be able to return fire. That light screen does help him out quite a bit, but if we can paralyze him with T-Bolt, we're going to be pretty happy. We're gaining HP back every time. What else you got? Do you have bulk up? Do you have bulk up? No, probably not. But we are going to go for protect here. We're going to try and burn out this light screen as much as possible. We're going to burn out a little bit of his Brave Bird as well. It looks like he's trying to be as bulky as possible, regenerate as much HP as possible with that leftovers. But here's the deal. Here's the thing with Talonflame, and this is why I've always said don't use Talonflame. This is why I've never used Talonflame on my teams. Talonflame has a base attack of 80. That's 80. That's the same base attack as Skarmory. I don't know how many of you out there use Skarmory as a physical attacker, but I definitely use it impish natured with Brave Bird as, well, I don't want to be totally taunt bait and struggle. That's the big thing. So, Talonflame really just, it's not as viable as people want it to be, and I hate saying it. I'm like, listen, I know, I get it. I'm with you, but it's just not that good. Alright, at this point, Scissor's probably our best bet because, well, Scissor's a steel type, so he's going to be able to resist any fairy moves. He's also a bug type, so he's going to be able to resist any sort of, well, psychic. Psychic's the most viable move that it's going to have. Oh, Shadow Ball. Interesting. Predicting a switch into something. Crit hacks. Oh, God, those crit hacks, they suck. Mega Evolve. Let's go for the Bullet Punch here. We could go for the Sword Stance, but seeing how much Shadow Ball really did there, this is the only physical attacker, so we're just going to try and take it out. We're going to have our Mega Evolution, so we're going to be able to switch in pretty well. Looks like our Bullet Punch is going to come in first. Not bad, not bad. Do some damage to that Talonflame. Show him how much of a wimp he really is. Wimp. Alright. Here's our other favorite way of taking out Talonflame. I still need more water. Next time, in the next gap, I need to go get more water, guys. I'm saying it now. Now, the reason that I like Carbink is because Carbink, against Brave Bird, not going to take a whole lot of damage. He's got the Rocky Helmet, so he's going to be doing recoil damage to himself, recoil damage from the Rocky Helmet, and not a whole lot of damage from Carbink. So, it really doesn't matter what's coming out next. Carbink's pretty good. I don't think a whole lot of people give Carbink the time of day just because Carbink doesn't seem like he'd be all that good. But we're going to set up the light screen here. We're not too worried about Stealth Rocks, but if we did set up Stealth Rocks, well, then that'd be awesome too. I didn't see something that looked like a Rapid Spinner on the team to my memory, but then again, my memory can be a little bit shady. We've set up the light screen, so we're going to see what we can do. Paralysis on something with base speed of 50 doesn't make a huge lick of difference to me. Just because, I mean, yeah, it's going to reduce my ability to attack, but its base speed is 50. 50. It's not a big deal. I'm not upset about it. We're good. Alright, so at that point, let's go back into Weezing. Weezing was doing a decent amount of damage even through that light screen and surviving a whole lot. And as long as we can get something going, I mean, if he's going to go for another screen, we'd really like to be able to defog some of this with Scissor just to try and get some of that entry hazard out of there. But you know what? Weezing's got the defensive bulk that we know we can switch him in without having to worry about it too much. We're going to go for the Protect here. Even if he's going for some sort of Reflect, it really doesn't matter. But if he's switching in, it's going to fail. If he's switching, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. What's up, Cloyster? Alright, now, I'm imagining that the first turn is going to be a Shell Smash. First turn on Cloyster is almost always Shell Smash, but if it's going to be Icicle Spear, that's fine. Weezing super defensive bulky. Even with the skill link. I mean, that sucks how much damage he took. But Cloyster's very defensive bulky, not very special defensive bulky. I've got a lot of confidence that Weezing's going to be able to take a lot of damage and return fire extremely well. He's not a very good special attacker, but that was through a light screen, and he did that much damage. Just saying. Alright, now at this point, we already know that this thing is not going to be... Oh, levitate, nice! We already know that this thing is not going to be a Mega Evolve, so we're not worried about it too much. We've got Scissor with Bullet Punch, we're going to be okay there. Shadow Ball did a lot of damage to regular Scissor, but we should be able to survive pretty well without too much problem. At that point, we've seen Thunderbolt, we've seen Shadow Ball, I assume Moon Blast are the next two moves, so we really don't want to send out Inigo Montoya. But then again, Inigo Montoya doesn't have any super effective moves against this thing. He's got a dark move, which is super effective against the psychic side, but with that Fairy Edition in Gen 6, I mean, it's just not great. So, I'm just switching in Porygon 2. Very bulky all the way around. That's why we had him in. Oh, crit hacks. We have to complain because it's TryHard Tuesday. We're going to go ahead and go for the recover, and then we'll turn around and go for Signal Beam next. Porygon 2, I mean, should be able to scare this thing out pretty well. Moonblast is going to suck because it's stab. It's not super effective, though. And Porygon 2's got a lot of HP to play with. 192 HP at level 50s, nothing to be too upset about. Let's say that. Signal Beam should be coming up next. There we go. Fantastic. We know with the Stealth Rocks that Talonflame can't switch in because it's dead. Without any sort of Rapid Spin or Defog, it's just dead. We're not going to set up the Defog until Talonflame is dead. Just saying. Signal Beam didn't do near as much damage as I wanted it to. We're going to go for the Recover and maybe switch Porygon out. Calm Mind. There it is. I'm a little surprised to see Calm Mind on it, but then again, wanting to be more special defensive bulky, it's not terribly surprising. I'm just used to not many people running it. Porygon 2 gets basically a free setup. Opposing team's light screen wears off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Go for the Signal Beam again. Go for it, Porygon 2. We should do alright with one Moonblast and switch Porygon out into something else. We should be alright. Yeah, we'll be alright. Signal Beam still doing a little bit of damage. It's just not as much as we'd want. Alright, where do we want to go here? He's doing less than half damage. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to go? I don't know. With Moonblast, that means Inigo Montoya doesn't really want to come out. With Calm Mind, Gengar won't be able to take a Moonblast necessarily. Scissor might be able to do it, but I think that we might have to send out something as a little bit of Death Fodder just to see what we can do here. And I think we'd like to save Carbink back for a little bit later. Let's send out Weezing for now. Weezing may have a lot of super effective moves against a lot of his team, but he already took out quite a few Pokemon, so he's already been very cost effective. So we're pretty happy with the way that Weezing's been doing his job. Moonblast, he might not survive. That's okay. I'm not worried about him. He's in here for Death Fodder. It's unfortunate that we're going to lose our 6-0 sweep on TryHard Tuesday, but it is what it is. Scissor's going to come out here, take a little bit of Stealth Rocks. We're going to keep the rocks up and out, but we're going to go for Bullet Punch here. I don't think that Scissor's really going to be able to take too much from a Calm Mind on top of everything else, but Thunderbolt doing neutral damage, Moonblast being stab, Shadow Ball being neutral damage, I don't see it doing that well. We're going to get something going out. Diggersby's going to come in here and try and do something. I don't know how much, though. We should be able to outspeed him, and, I mean, while Diggersby has a decent amount of HP to him, if you don't invest in that HP, then Diggersby's nearly worthless. He needs to have max HP and max attack, just like any sort of... Oh, there it is. There's the Talonflame death. Now we can go ahead and defog, because that was the biggest threat to Scissor. That was the biggest reason we had the Stealth Rocks up. That helps too. Stealth Rocks, especially when you've got a team that's this susceptible to Stealth Rocks with 2 flying Pokemon, one of them being 4 times super affected by Stealth Rocks, having a Rapid Spinner on your team is very beneficial. So at this point, having Stealth Rocks and a Steel Pokemon on our team basically made it so that we could wipe out most of this team. Excuse me. While Klefki is going to do a decent amount of damage, especially if it's got Foul Play, I've got a decent amount of defense with the Impish Nature. Foul Play is neutral damage, but you know what? I'm just going to keep going for Bullet Punch, because Bullet Punch is neutral damage on Klefki. So at this point, he's basically hoping and praying that, please, dear God, the Parahax RNG gods, please let me come in here. But unfortunately, with Stealth Rocks coming in, it's going to do enough damage that it doesn't really matter that much. Bullet Punch gonna come in. There it is. TryHard Tuesday. GG. GG, well played.